for travelers, just general who are looking to come to Mexico and they want to go beyond Cancun, um, what recommendations you give them for planning a trip?
I'm gonna ask her in Spanish too, because she doesn't have the headset on, so she's just kind of listening slightly, but it's not as loud.
Okay.
¿Qué tipo de recomendaciones podemos hacer para gente que quieren visitar México? First-time visitors, like first-time visitors, or people who,
or just general travelers who just want to come to Mexico, but they want to go beyond Cancun.
uh, yeah, she was saying that's a big thing is too. It depends on where they want to go. Like, what state do they want to travel to? Because obviously, Mexico has. Let me just put it this way: Mexico is absolutely safe. It is one of the safest countries in the world. Just as the United States has problems with cities like Chicago having a very bad murder rate, Mexico has places that are kind of dangerous. So Juarez, obviously you don't want to be in Juarez, and Michoacan is having problems with the cartels. But I would say 80% de Mexico is seguro. Like 80% of Mexico is completely safe to travel to, absolutely safe to travel to. You do not need to worry about being a foreigner in Mexico. The people are very hospitable. Nothing bad will happen to you. But it does depend on what state you want to go to, because there's so much to see here. So if you like the beach, you're going to want to do the Riviera Maya or Puerto Vallarta or Cabo San Lucas, which are consequently going to be priced towards, tourist prices. If you want to do the natural side of things, you want to see the forests and the biospheres, the canyons, the mountains, Chiapas. Come see us in Chiapas, because there is so much to see here in terms of natural beauty. There's the biospheres, the national parks, there's canyons, rivers, mountains, Mayan villages. Tabasco has Las Parques de Ventas. Yunca, Ventas. There's national parks that nobody goes to because there's no tourism industry here. So if you like to backpack and see things that are off the beaten path, there's a lot of things you can do and see. And then if you're a big fan of culture, Mexico City it's in the top 5 cities of the world. It's like New York City in terms of size, economic power, culture, things to do, opera, theater, concerts. You got Mayan ruins, Aztec ruins. I mean, there's all these ruins outside of Mexico City. You've got places like Puebla, San Luis Potosi. I could go on. I mean, there's just so much things. So really, you would need to determine what do you want to see, what do you want to experience, because there is so much diversity in terms of the geological side of things. You can see anything you want to see. So if you like the beaches, you can go to the coast. But if you want to see the mountains, you're going to want to go to the interior. Or if you want to go see, what we're planning on doing for December, for example, we're planning on being in Mexico City for all of December, because we want to be there to cover on the blog the festivals of Navidad and also for the New Year's, because what better place to celebrate Christmas and to cover all of the markets and the festivals and the celebrations that go on for Christmas than in Mexico City. So it just kind of depends on what you want to see. Pretty much everywhere you go, you can speak English as long as you're in a city, and you're going to find people that can understand English. Everything is safe. Obviously, if you can make local connections before you get there, do so that you can find out the actual prices for taxis and public transportation. And because there is a gringo tax, the other thing you need to be aware of is everything here can be negotiated, but you have to be willing to negotiate intelligently, because nothing in Mexico nunca es medio. Like, you can't just go in and say, I want that for half price, and think that they're going to give it to you for half price, because they don't ever mark anything up that much. I just actually did an interview with Tim Leffel from the Cheapest Destinations blog while we were in T-Bex, and it's up on his site now. And that's one of the things that came up in the discussion was negotiation in Mexico, and it's the fact that they don't ever mark things up that much. It might be marked up 15 to 25%. So you can't just ask for half off, because it's never going to happen, and it's very rude of you to think that you can. So knowing how to negotiate everything, any lawyer you talk to in Mexico is going to tell you, hay muchas vueltas. There are many turns, there are many paths you can take in Mexico as far as business goes. So if you're willing to negotiate, you can get a cheaper deal on everything. So if you want to come down here and buy clothing, souvenirs, stuff like that, it's a great place to do it. Other than that, enjoy the culture. Everything in Mexico is a fiesta, so as long as you're willing to throw away your watch and have fun, you will have fun in Mexico no matter what part you go to.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Christina, want to add anything before we
Anderson,
sign off?
¿tú quieres añadir algo en el tema de cosas pueden hacer en México o recomendaciones para visitando aquí?
Pero depende qué lugar.
No, no, just en general, por turistas.
Por los turistas. La cultura, pues ya saben, la
Yeah,
cultura
it's
de las
that's the
tradiciones de los pueblos.
that's a big thing. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but like she's saying, I don't know if your audience can hear her or speak Spanish. So I'll just say it in English. The culture in Mexico is such that every pueblo and every state has a different culture, and they also have different natives. There's different indigenous people that live in every single state. So you've got the Mayans, the Aztecs and the descendants, the Aztecas, ¿qué tipos de Olmecas?
Olmecas, Toltecas.
Toltecas. There's literally hundreds of different natives that live throughout Mexico, and they still have a very direct cultural impact on what you're going to see in the cities as far as celebrations go. So usually every week, there's a different parade or festival going on in the Zocalo or the city center. There's always something going on the weekends, and it's usually going to be related to some type of cultural aspect of what's going on within the pueblo, the surrounding communities, and the state, and all the indigenous people that make up that state. Because Mexicans are not Mexican per se. Mexicans are a mixture of many different indigenous tribes along with the Spaniards who came here. So every generation has taken some of the cultural aspects and evolved them. So if you like culture and history, Mexico is a great place to be. And the food of Mexico,
Cada estado igual.
yeah, every state has a different type of food. A lot of
Yucatán tiene una comida, te digo, cuando la persona no está acostumbrada.
that's the thing and she's saying in the Yucatan, sometimes the people, if they're not accustomed to the food, they won't like it. And there's also a lot of people have heard of Montezuma's Revenge, and that's not necessarily, it's not bad food. It's just your gut is not accustomed to the type of food that you're eating, and so you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. And in reality, your body's just going, this is completely different than anything most Americans are used to eating processed food. So when you come down to a place like Mexico and everything you're eating has been prepared by hand from natural ingredients, and there's no way around it. There is bacteria, and not the bad kind of bacteria. It's like the bacteria in yogurt, the probiotics. There's things in yogurt, that are alive. It's live cultures, and so there's a lot of stuff that's in Mexico as far as the local foods go. They're incredible foods, but sometimes it can take your body a little bit to used to. I have never had problems, but I do have an iron stomach, and I've eaten turtle, I've eaten iguana, I've eaten a lot of different things in Mexico, and I've never gotten sick. It's just you have to be adventurous about it. But there's an amazing amount of diversity in the food down here. So
I'm glad that you both addressed Montezuma's Revenge. I guess the American stereotype for Mexico, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just cleansing, because if you treat
it's cleansing.
Yes, your body cleanses. Yeah, changing diets. So that's natural. It happens. Just a part
It'll
of
happen
travel.
anywhere you go. New food, new place. You might get sick. You might not. It's going to happen. It's not bad food, and it's not that the people are preparing, low quality, inferior, dirty food. It's different cultures. So I'm glad that you appreciate that side of the fence.
I do. Well, I'm going to let you two get on with your day.
Sure.
Thank you so much for taking time out.
No, thank you. Nosotros, it's something that we're always happy to talk to people. I know Chris is finally feeling better enough to get on in front of the camera now, so
I'm
this
glad.
has been a pleasure for us. And if you need anything else from us in the future, let us know. We're always happy to come talk. So,
Definitely,
no worries.
definitely.